The sky burned. Crimson streaks of plasma fire rained down upon Earth's surface, leveling entire cities in the blink of an eye. Once proud metropolises, New York, Beijing, Moscow, and Nairobi, were reduced to molten wastelands. The orbital defense platforms had been the first to go, torn apart by weapons far beyond humanity's technological understanding. They came without warning, without mercy. The Zalari Dominion, an empire spanning thousands of star systems, had deemed humanity a Category 3 threat. Not powerful enough to rival them, yet too unpredictable to be allowed to exist. The decision was made. Earth would be wiped from the galactic map. Admiral Elias Voss stood aboard the last functional defense station, the UEM Bastion, watching the horror unfold. He was a seasoned leader, hardened by decades of military service, but nothing could prepare him for this. Every second, billions died. His hands clenched into fists as the command center was filled with the panicked chatter of officers scrambling for solutions. There were none. "We're receiving a distress call from the Martian colonies," one officer shouted. "They're under attack, Admiral." "Just like us." Voss's jaw tightened. This was extermination. The Zalari fleet, vast and monstrous, hung above the planet like predatory beasts, their sleek black hulls shimmering with the eerie glow of ionized energy. The smallest of their warships dwarfed humanity's greatest battleships. "Sir, the planetary shield network is collapsing. We've lost Europe's grid entirely. Africa and the Americas won't hold much longer," another officer reported grimly. Voss knew what that meant. Once the shields were gone, nothing would stop the orbital bombardments from turning Earth into a lifeless rock. A voice crackled through the station's speakers. "This is President Diana Holt to all remaining military forces. We must ensure humanity survives. I am authorizing Exodus Protocol. All remaining ships must retreat and regroup. We will not perish today." Exodus. The plan that had been drawn up in secret for a day they had prayed would never come. Voss closed his eyes for a brief moment before turning to his officers. "Begin immediate evacuation of all remaining forces. Prioritize civilian transports. I want every combat-capable vessel covering their escape. We hold the line as long as we can." The officers scrambled into action. Across the system, the last remnants of humanity's fleet began their retreat. The Zalari, realizing what was happening, intensified their assault. A deep rumble shook the station. "They've breached the lower decks." Voss grabbed his sidearm. "We make them bleed for every inch." The command center erupted into chaos as explosions rocked the station. Zalari shock troopers, towering, insectoid warriors clad in shimmering bioarmor, poured in through breached hull sections. Plasma bolts flew in all directions. Voss fired his pistol, taking down one of the creatures, but more kept coming. "Fall back. Secure the escape pods." His crew fought valiantly, but they were overwhelmed. The last thing Voss saw before darkness claimed him was the Zalari fleet looming over the dying planet, and the unmistakable glow of ships escaping into deep space. Earth had fallen. But humanity was not dead yet. Admiral Elias Voss awoke to the rhythmic hum of a medical scanner. His body ached, his vision blurry. The sterile white glow of emergency lights flickered above him. He was alive. That alone was a miracle. A familiar voice broke through the haze. "Admiral, can you hear me?" He turned his head. Commander Aria Kessler stood beside him, her face lined with exhaustion but her sharp green eyes focused. Behind her, he recognized the Spartan interior of a UEM Valkyrie-class battleship, a relic of humanity's once proud fleet. "What happened?" Voss rasped. Kessler sighed. "We lost Earth." The words hit like a hammer. He already knew, but hearing it aloud solidified the nightmare. "We barely got you out," Kessler continued. "The bastion was lost with all hands. But the evacuation, it wasn't a complete failure. We managed to regroup at Rally Point Omega. What's left of our fleet is there." Voss forced himself upright, ignoring the protests of his body. How many ships? Kessler hesitated. 67. 67. Out of thousands. Voss exhaled sharply. Where is Rally Point Omega? We're currently stationed in the Karen Expanse, a dead zone outside Zalari territory. They don't patrol here often. Too many ion storms and gravitational anomalies. Smart. A good place to regroup. But survival wasn't enough. What about leadership? President Holt? Kessler looked away. She went down with Earth. Silence. The last official leader of humanity was gone. Which meant, it's you now, Admiral. Voss clenched his jaw. He had spent his life as a soldier, not a politician. But there was no time to grieve, no time for hesitation. Humanity needed a plan. He stood, his body protesting, but Kessler didn't stop him. She knew better. Together, they made their way to the command deck. As the blast doors hissed open, the sight before him was both sobering and inspiring. What remained of humanity's fleet hung in the void. A patchwork of warships, freighters, and hastily repurposed civilian vessels. Some bore the scars of battle, scorched hulls, missing sections, flickering lights. And yet, they still moved. Still fought to exist. Communications officers worked feverishly, engineers scrambled to make repairs, and soldiers stood at attention. They had all lost something, families, homes, entire worlds. But their eyes burned with the same determination. Humanity was broken, but it was not defeated. Voss activated the fleet-wide comms. His voice needed to be strong, unwavering. This is Admiral Elias Voss. We are the last of humanity, but we are not finished. The Zalari think they've won. They think we are scattered, leaderless, dying. But they have made one fatal mistake. He let the silence stretch. They left survivors. A ripple of murmur spread across the deck. We will not be forgotten. We will not fade into the dark. We will strike back. We will fight. A cheer erupted from the crew. Across the fleet, captains and soldiers listened, their despair hardening into purpose. Voss turned to Kessler. We need intelligence. We need resources. And most of all, we need a way to hurt them. Kessler nodded. I might know just the place. Voss raised an eyebrow. She grinned, something fierce. Ever heard of the Black Sky Initiative? He had. And if they were still alive, humanity had just found its first weapon in the war to come. The UEM Revenant, a sleek, battle-worn destroyer, cut through the turbulent void of the Karen Expanse. Ion storms crackled in the distance, illuminating the ragtag fleet that had survived Earth's fall. Admiral Elias Voss stood on the bridge, staring at the distant coordinates Commander Arya Kessler had provided. The Black Sky Initiative. It had been little more than a rumor, a clandestine division of human military science, operating off the books, dedicated to experimental weapons and warfare tactics deemed too extreme for conventional battlefields. Before the war, it had been buried under bureaucratic denials. Now, it might be the only hope humanity had left. Kessler stood beside him, arms crossed. If they survived, they'll be hidden inside Erebus 9. Voss nodded. Erebus 9 was a dead world, a rogue planet drifting in the void, cut off from any solar system. No natural light. No detectable energy signatures. The perfect hiding place. As the Revenant approached the dark planet, a sudden warning blared across the bridge. Incoming projectile, impact imminent. Evasive maneuvers. Kessler barked. The ship veered sharply as something massive tore through the void, a hyper-accelerated slug round, moving at nearly relativistic speeds. It narrowly missed, but the kinetic shockwave still sent the Revenant into a spiral. They're shooting at us, one of the officers shouted. Voss clenched his jaw. They don't know we're friendly. Black Sky never took risks. New contacts emerging. From the abyss, massive gun platforms materialized, automated sentries invisible to scanners until they fired. More rounds streaked toward them. We need to signal them, Kessler urged. Voss grabbed the comms. This is Admiral Elias Voss of the United Earth Military. Black Sky, if you're alive, we need you. Earth has fallen. The Zalari have wiped out our home. Silence. Then, a voice, calm, authoritative, and laced with something almost mechanical. Welcome to Erebus, 9. Do not deviate from your course. Or we will kill you. The weapons ceased fire. A passage through the sentry line opened. Voss exhaled. That's reassuring. Kessler smirked. Black Sky never had a reputation for hospitality. The Revenant descended through the planet's dense atmosphere. Below them, nestled within jagged mountains of obsidian rock, lay a hidden fortress, not a simple base, but a fully functional underground military installation. As the ship touched down on a landing pad, Voss caught sight of something that made his breath hitch. Warships. Not the battered wrecks they had salvaged, but fully armed, cutting-edge human warships, sleek, angular, bristling with weapons that shouldn't exist. This wasn't just a research base, Kessler muttered. They were building an entire fleet. The airlock hissed open. A group of figures awaited them, Black Sky operatives clad in midnight black armor, their helmets obscuring their faces. But one of them, a tall, silver-haired man with cybernetic implants tracing his face, stepped forward and removed his helmet. Admiral Voss, he said, his voice disturbingly smooth. Welcome to the future. Voss narrowed his eyes. And you are? The man smirked. Dr. Marcus Hale. Director of the Black Sky Initiative. And if what you say is true, then humanity's last hope just arrived at the right place. Voss glanced at the prototype warships, the hidden arsenal, the soldiers hardened by years of secret war. For the first time since Earth fell, they had a real chance to fight back. Admiral Elias Voss followed Dr. Marcus Hale through the dimly lit corridors of the Black Sky Initiative's underground fortress. The walls were lined with schematics, blueprints, and weapon prototypes that looked far beyond anything the United Earth military had ever deployed. Soldiers in black armor moved with practiced precision, their faces emotionless, their movements almost too perfect. The deeper they went, the more evident it became, this wasn't just a military outpost. It was a war factory. Hale led them into a massive command chamber, where holograms displayed real-time enemy fleet movements, potential weak points in the Zalari Dominion, and, most importantly, Project Revenant ***. Voss narrowed his eyes. What the hell is this? Hale smirked. The beginning of our counteroffensive. Kessler leaned forward, analyzing the holographic blueprint. It showed something impossible, a human warship, far beyond what Earth's fleets had ever fielded. This is not standard UEM tech, she muttered. Because it's not UEM at all, Hale confirmed. Project Revenant was designed in secret, away from political oversight. A new class of warship, faster, stronger, adaptive ***. Integrated quantum AI, phase shift armor, and an experimental energy-based rail cannon that can tear through a Zalari dreadnought's hull in one shot. Voss folded his arms. And yet, while Earth burned, this fleet sat hidden. Hale's smirk faded. If we had revealed ourselves too soon, the Zalari would have sent their entire armada to eradicate us. We needed to stay in the shadows. But now the time has come. Voss wasn't sure if he admired the man's foresight or wanted to punch him in the face. But there was no time for personal grudges. How many of these ships do you have? Hale turned toward the hologram. 12 fully operational. Another 6 in final stages of construction. And, he gestured toward another blueprint. A prototype flagship. The Revenant. The image shifted, revealing a monstrous vessel, sleek, angular, armed to the teeth with classified weaponry. unlike any human warship before it. Voss exhaled. You built a dreadnought. A ghost, Hale corrected. Undetectable by standard Zalari scanners. Outfitted with dark matter cloaking and a gravity drive that lets it maneuver like a fighter. This ship isn't just a weapon, Admiral. It's a message. Kessler frowned. A message? Hale's gaze was cold steel. That humanity isn't dead. That we're coming for them. Voss felt a slow, burning fire build in his chest. This was what they needed. A weapon the Zalari didn't expect. A fleet capable of striking deep into enemy lines. We're going to need more than a fleet, Voss said. We need a plan. Something the Zalari won't see coming. Hale's smirk returned. Oh, we have a plan. But you're not going to like it. The hologram shifted again, revealing an impossible target. Voss's eyes widened. That's their homeworld. Hale nodded. Not a full assault, of course. That would be suicide. But a surgical strike, deep into Zalari space, hitting them where they feel the safest. We steal critical data, sabotage their war machine, and, if we're lucky, take down a few of their high-ranking command. We hit them so hard, so unexpectedly, that they start fearing us. Kessler let out a low whistle. Insane. Reckless. I love it. Voss stared at the map, his mind racing. If they could pull this off, if they could make the Zalari believe humanity was more than just remnants in the dark, they could shift the war before it truly began. He turned to Hale. How soon can we be ready? Hale's eyes gleamed. The Revenant launches in 3 days. We'll be ready. Voss nodded. For the first time since Earth fell, they weren't running anymore. They were about to go on the offensive. The Revenant emerged from the void like a phantom. In the vast darkness of uncharted space, the warship and its 12 Black Sky Initiative vessels, now dubbed the Ghost Fleet, moved in eerie silence, undetectable to standard Zalari scans. Their hulls shimmered as they adapted to background radiation, their gravity drives leaving no visible trails. Admiral Elias Voss stood on the bridge, staring at the massive Zalari command station floating above a heavily industrialized planet. This was Primus 4, a critical hub in the Zalari war machine, responsible for manufacturing the energy cores that powered their dreadnoughts. Hitting it wouldn't just be a symbolic victory. It would cripple their fleet production. Commander Arya Kessler stood beside him, arms folded. Fleet reports all systems green. Weapons primed. Cloaks holding. Voss exhaled slowly. Then it's time. Let's show them what humanity can do. A single Zalari patrol ship drifted near the station, oblivious to the invisible warships around it. Aboard the Revenant, Hale's cybernetic implants glowed faintly as he activated the fleet-wide neural command system. Engage. In an instant, the Ghost Fleet struck. Hell unleashed. The Revenant's main cannon charged in absolute silence, a quantum coil accelerating a dark matter-infused projectile at relativistic speeds. The shot fired, and before the Zalari ship's sensors even registered a threat. It exploded into an expanding cloud of vaporized metal and organic matter, At the same time, the other Ghost Fleet ships decloaked, raining precision EMP torpedoes and pulse disruptors onto the command station's defenses. Automated turrets shorted out, shield generators overloaded, and Zalari warships scrammed in confusion. By the time their fleet attempted to mobilize, the humans were already inside. Kessler led an insertion team through the breach, clad in next-generation exorigs. The suits amplified their speed and strength, making them more than a match for the insectoid Zalari warriors. Laser fire streaked through the corridors. A Zalari lieutenant roared in its native tongue, **** impossible. Humans should be extinct, ****. Kessler put a railgun round through its faceplate. Surprise, you six-eyed bastard. Meanwhile, Voss coordinated the fleet's assault. The Zalari weren't stupid, they were rallying, fast. More warships were coming. Time was running out. Hale, Voss barked, tell me you're pulling the data. On the command deck of the station, Dr. Marcus Hale stood before a massive Zalari databank, his cybernetic implants interfacing directly with the alien system. Streams of code flooded his mind. I'm in, Hale whispered. This is even bigger than we thought. Voss gritted his teeth. What the hell does that mean? Hale's breathing was unsteady. I just found their endgame. A chill ran down Voss's spine. Explain. Fast. Hale turned, his face paled despite his enhancements. The Zalari weren't just exterminating us. They were experimenting. Looking for something. And I think they found it. A terrifying revelation. Before Voss could press further, alarms screamed across the station. The entire structure shook violently. Incoming Zalari reinforcements, a tactical officer called out. 3 dreadnoughts. They'll be here in 2 minutes. We don't have 2 minutes, Kessler snapped. We need to move, now. Hale ripped the data core from the console, still shaking his head. This isn't just about humanity. They've been hunting for something older, something worse. Voss made a decision. Everyone, fall back to the Revenant. We're leaving. The human strike teams fought their way back through the corridors, leaving chaos and burning Zalari bodies in their wake. The Ghost Fleet reactivated their cloaks one by one, vanishing as the first Zalari dreadnoughts arrived. The last thing the aliens saw before losing sensor contact was the Revenant disappearing into the void. The Revenant drifted within the turbulent nebula of the Veil Rift, its hull camouflaged against the ion-charged clouds. Inside the warship's command deck, Admiral Elias Voss, Commander Arya Kessler, and Dr. Marcus Hale stood over the decrypted Zalari databanks. The information they had stolen from Primus flickered across the holodeck, lines of alien script translating into something more horrifying with every passing second. Hale exhaled, his usually smug demeanor replaced with pure dread. They weren't just exterminating us, Admiral. They were testing us. Voss's expression darkened. Testing us for what? Hale zoomed in on one of the translated entries. The Zalari War Council had categorized humanity as Phase 3 subjects, the first species to ever reach that designation before total extinction. Every race the Zalari conquered was part of a larger experiment, Hale continued. They study, they fight, they observe how species resist annihilation, but humanity, he hesitated. We lasted too long. We adapted too quickly. They think we're the closest thing they've ever found to a true threat. Kessler frowned. And that terrifies them? No, Hale said grimly. It excites them. A holographic projection appeared, showing vast underground Zalari research facilities on a planet labeled Xiphos 9. The translated data called it the Crucible, a black site where survivors of conquered species were taken for experimentation. Voss clenched his fists. Are you saying there are still humans alive in Zalari captivity? Hale nodded. Yes. And if this data is right, they're being held on Xiphos 9. A living nightmare. The Ghost Fleet convened in the Revenant's war room, their captain standing around a tactical display of Xiphos 9. This is no ordinary prison, Hale explained. This is where the Zalari push survivors to their limits. Combat testing, cybernetic augmentation, forced evolution. They want to see if we're worth something more. Kessler's voice was razor-sharp. Worth what? Hale hesitated before answering. Assimilation. Silence fell over the room. Voss's jaw tightened. You're telling me they don't just wipe species out? They turn them into something else? Hale pulled up a horrifying image, a hybrid soldier, half Zalari, half something else. Twisted. Engineered. Enhanced. They've been trying for centuries, Hale said. Most species break. But humans? We resist. We fight back harder. And that's why Xiphos 9 is different. He looked Voss in the eye. They think we're the first species that might actually survive the process. The decision to strike. Voss took a deep breath. The weight of it all pressed against his chest. Survivors. Captured humans. Genetic experimentation ****. If they left Xiphos 9 alone, those people would be gone forever. Either dead or turned into something inhuman. But Xiphos 9 wasn't a simple target. It was deep in enemy space, surrounded by an entire Zalari sector fleet. One bad move, and humanity's last hope would be extinguished before they could even begin their rebellion. We need to move, Kessler said. We need to hit them before they finish whatever the hell they're doing. Voss nodded. Agreed. But we don't just attack. He turned to the holodeble, eyes narrowing as a strategy formed in his mind. We infiltrate. We sabotage. And we steal back our own people. Hale arched an eyebrow. A full extraction mission? With a fleet this size? No, Voss said. Not a fleet. A ghost crew. Kessler smirked. You want a Black Ops team? Voss's expression was stone. I want the best we have. We go in silent, plant charges, steal every human still breathing, and turn Xiphos 9 into a burning graveyard. The captains of the Ghost Fleet nodded, determination etched on their faces. Hale's cybernetic eye flickered. Then it settled. We don't just fight for revenge anymore. He glanced at the twisted hybrid experiments displayed in the holograms. We fight for our people. For those they tried to break. Voss turned to the war table, locking eyes with his commanders. This is our next move. We bring hell to Xiphos 9. The Revenant cut through the void like a shadow, cloaked in the cold, dark expanse of Zalari space. Inside the ship, tension was palpable. The Ghost Fleet had been divided into small, specialized strike teams, and Admiral Voss stood at the center of the war room, surrounded by his most trusted officers. Commander Kessler was reviewing the infiltration plans with her team, while Dr. Hale hovered over a holographic projection, muttering to himself. ***Xiphos 9*** is a fortress, Kessler said, tapping her finger against the table. We can't just fly in and grab our people. The Zalari are expecting something, we'll have to blindside them. Voss was deep in thought, his fingers tracing the outline of the planet's surface. That's why we hit them fast and hard. We take them off guard, disable their defenses, and extract our people before they even know we're there. Hale finally spoke up, his voice low and cautious. The problem isn't just the defenses. Xiphos 9 has a central command nexus, an AI that monitors everything. If we don't disable it first, it'll trigger every security protocol on the planet. We'll be trapped before we even land. Kessler grimaced. So, we take out the nexus first, then? How? Hale turned to the map, highlighting a high-security facility deep within the planet's surface. We'll need to infiltrate this facility. It's shielded from orbital scans, heavily guarded. But if we can take out the nexus, we'll cripple their entire security grid, and the extraction teams can do their job. Voss met Kessler's gaze. You're in charge of the ground team. No mistakes. Kessler's jaw tightened. We get it done. Fast. The descent into hell. The Revenant dropped out of its cloaking mode as it neared Xiphos 9's atmosphere. The planet was a massive industrial world, scarred by the Zalari's ruthless testing facilities. The strike teams deployed into drop pods, each one cloaked in the same dark matter technology as the fleet. Their landing sites were chosen for secrecy, hidden away from Zalari patrols. Commander Kessler led the first team through the underground caverns beneath the Nexus facility. The air was thick with the smell of oil and decay, the walls lined with cracked, artificial lights casting an eerie glow. As they approached the entrance, Kessler held up her hand. Quiet. The team stopped dead in their tracks as a Zalari guard patrol passed, their spiked forms silhouetted in the dim light. Kessler motioned to her team. The guards never even saw them as they slipped past, infiltrating deeper into the facility's heart. Meanwhile, on the surface, Voss commanded the Revenant's crew to disable the station's outer defenses. The Zalari response fleet was on its way, but by the time they arrived, the humans would already be gone. A deep explosion rocked the facility as Kessler's team planted their charges. They moved swiftly toward the central control hub, the heart of Xiphos 9's operations. The Nexus. Inside the central control chamber, the Nexus AI pulsed to life. Its holographic form flickered, an eerie mix of organic Zalari technology and cold, emotionless computing systems. It was aware, analyzing their movements as it began to lock down sections of the facility. **** move. Now, ***, Kessler shouted. Her team stormed into the room, weapons blazing as they took down the few remaining guards. Kessler approached the AI terminal, her fingers moving with surgical precision as she began uploading a virus into the system, Hale's design, one that would disrupt the AI's functions, corrupting its ability to process real-time information. A countdown began. The Nexus started to fight back, locking down the chamber. But it was already too late. The virus took hold, scrambling the AI's core functions. The security grid flickered and collapsed. It's done, Kessler's voice was steady, but her eyes burned with the intensity of their mission. Let's get to the surface. Extraction and betrayal. The extraction teams moved in quickly. They'd located the human survivors, trapped within cages and cells, twisted by the Zalari's experimental procedures. Many were barely alive, their bodies altered beyond recognition, but still human. Voss watched from the Revenant's command deck as the rescue ships descended. They pulled up survivors, evacuating them from the surface before the Zalari could respond. But just as victory seemed within reach, a new fleet appeared on the horizon, a massive force of Zalari warships bearing down on Xiphos 9. They had detected the sabotage, and they were not about to let humanity escape. The Revenant's cloaking systems activated once more, and Voss's jaw clenched. We can't outrun them. We need to fight. We'll hold them off, Kessler's voice crackled over comms. We've got the survivors. We're ready to go. But just as the Revenant turned to face the incoming Zalari dreadnoughts, Hale's voice cut through the static, tinged with panic. Admiral, there's something else, someone else, the Zalari's last experiment. A twisted, cybernetic figure appeared on the command screen, half human, half Zalari, with eyes glowing red. I'm Project Omega, it growled, its voice cold, mechanical. And now, I'm your greatest nightmare. Voss's heart sank. Humanity's final victory had just been complicated by a monster of the Zalari's making. But one thing was clear, there was no turning back now. The war for humanity's survival had just reached its climactic point. The last stand of mankind had only just begun.